my God!
A kick out!
What the hell is this? Oh, God!
Oh my! Push! Canceler!
Unbelievable!
Has been an absolutely brutal display.
Oh, my God!
That was freaking insane!
Make yourself famous!
Talk about a high-risk maneuver.
What?
The new champion! PASW's Day of Reckoning has finally come. I am Drake Stacy, joined as always by the Wigman Max Mercury, and today we are talking about PASW's return show, part of the UCT return week. If you have not checked out the return show, pause this video right where you are and go over and check it out, because we will be talking about the show from top to bottom, and that does include spoilers. And also, if you have not checked it out, Max has just posted, or earlier yesterday posted, the top 25 women of 2021 video. Be sure to check that video out as well. That was obvious for personal reasons. Love number one.
Yeah. Thank you for the plug.
Yeah, you know, you gotta. And Max will be doing videos all week regarding the awards for 2021 as well. But we're here to talk about PASW. Overall, what were you before going into it too much? Just what are your overall thoughts of the show?
Honestly, I was really impressed with Avery's comeback, considering the last main roster PASW show we had was COG Community Summit, but even then that was more of a collab show than anything else. So it's been almost a full year, and I feel like Avery came back just running, just all the matches were really great in my opinion, and then the main event, I'm speechless really. I feel like that was a great way to start off the new year.
Yeah, it definitely he's definitely kicked off PASW with a bang, and it kind of seems like this episode is kind of like the setup for it's the build, the first block of the main storyline for this season, which is really exciting. And we're gonna start with the main event, because that's the biggest, as you say, talking point coming out of this show. The main event match was PASW Undisputed Champion Johnny Extreme defending his championship against Jaden Shadow, and the match ended with the debuts of Kota Imura, Kyle Young, Caleb James, Malcolm Black, all coming together to help Jaden win, and we now have a new PASW Undisputed Champion in Jaden Shadow. A lot of people in the live chat were myself included, I was I kind of want to see him win. I kind of want to see Jaden win, because that would be a hell of a swerve, really, for your first episode.
Exactly. Yeah. I wasn't in the live chat itself, but I was looking at all the feedback, and while reception to Jaden himself isn't too high, a lot of people were praising the match and are really looking forward to what's going to happen with the angle that transpired at the end of the show.
Yeah, I thought the match was really good, just overall. A lot of high spot kickouts. There's a lot of moves in there where, and that's not necessarily a problem per se, but there were a lot of moves in there where I was like, that could be a finish, that could be a finish. Yeah, so it was really good. The one thing that I didn't really care for, and this might just be a general thing for me, but I am not a big fan of when wrestlers talk to each other mid-match, when they stop what they're doing and there's a taunt and somebody there's a text that goes with it.
I see you're not a fan of anime battles. I see.
I mean, depending on if the moves are cool,
Okay.
But if it's just beginning of a match where somebody does they win a chain and then they're just you're not as good as me. And then
Mhm.
like, I don't really care for it. So my point is, when the three, Coda, Caleb, and Kyle come out and they all get up on the apron, I was like, this is a really cool moment because they're invading, like nobody knows why they're here, and we still don't know why they're here according to the live feed and everything.
Mhm.
But they each then proceeded to talk. They each were like, they each got up on the apron and they had to say something. They each said something either to Johnny or to Jaden.
Really?
Yeah, each one of them.
Okay.
And I was like, this moment would have so much more power is if they came out and said nothing.
They were just silent the whole time.
They just came out, got up on the apron, and then Jaden just flattens Johnny. Just and then just fully cements a heel turn, and
For
this
Jaden.
new group is here. And then like Avery and Road Rocker and Freddie can come out, and then like the massive brawl ensues. Like that to me would have been more powerful in that moment, if that makes sense.
I would agree. For the most, I did think they would have kept. Who was the one that said like, "Oh, this is our day of reckoning"? Was it Kyle?
I thought it was Coda.
I honestly don't know. I don't know that. I can't really. I haven't seen them enough yet to distinct them, but like I feel like I'm fine with all of them being silent except for maybe that one line, because it'd be that one line that everybody would be hinged on. It's like, oh, that's the one piece of information we have, and it's like,
see, but wouldn't that make more sense if Jaden himself would have done that, seeing as he's now the champion?
I guess you're right. If anything, the way I would edit it is I would have Jaden say that after the match was won. It's like you said, like everybody shows up, they're being silent, and then Jaden just like whacks Johnny from behind, pins him, and then while they're celebrating, Jaden gets on the mic and says that line, and then everybody comes out, and then keep the rest the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would have had a greater impact, I think. I still think the moment itself of them coming out and the invasion and everything, still very powerful moment. But that would have, for me, done it a little bit more.
Just like a little nitpick, but overall, just still great.
Yeah, it's great because it was really unexpected, because I don't think any of us really saw that coming.
I don't think any of us saw Jaden winning either.
I don't know if I necessarily. Well, yeah, you know what? I don't really think anybody did, because that wasn't his cash in of the briefcase. It was just a challenge.
I think the briefcase was more just for an opportunity for the season 9 premiere. So it wasn't like it wasn't a Money in the Bank thing.
Oh, and the description of the video, it says Money in the Bank contract.
I remember at War Mania, it was a ladder match between it was Jaden Shadow, Brendan, Steele, and then somebody else. I don't remember, but the winner would get the title shot for the season 9 premiere. So that's what it was for. Sorry if I cough. My mom's like cooking some chiles, so I might just be coughing throughout this whole video.
That's fine. I was gonna ask, but I was like, oh,
it's not COVID, guys. Don't think about it.
There you go.
Got the vaccine. Get the vaccine. Everybody.
Yes, get the vaccine, please. The other thing, I get the big moment, the Alpha Mast ring break at the very end. I get your triple power bombing a super heavyweight in Freddie, but for me, I didn't really care for that. Like, I felt like it would have had more power. Just like
100%, I agree. I think just leaving it with the triple power bomb with like, oh my God, Malcolm Black is also here. Triple power bomb, dang.
Yeah.
It might have been a little overkill, but I don't mind it too much. Like,
no, I don't. I don't really care that it was there, but if it were up to me, I wouldn't have done that. I would have saved that maybe for like a bigger stage per se. Although I guess the premiere of the season, it's a pretty big stage. But yeah, overall, that was a really good way to bring in all of these guys. I still don't know. It really wasn't stated per se, but is clearly heavily like speculated, and that Riley Marie
Might also be
Boulay
part of it.
is like, yeah, either like she's a part of it or she's the leader
What
or
a traitor!
something.
What a traitor! She went from managing Yumi and Cass, and then just jumps to the next big thing.
I know. The
I almost
original
got
RM,
I almost got fired at the beginning of the show. If you remember, she wanted me and Cass fired.
not
for
good. Not good.
not
Got
good.
to fight for your job in the PASW, Max.
Well, so
But yeah, so that was the beginning. That was not the beginning. That was the end of the show, beginning of the episode. So now let's just go from the start of the show, and we'll work our way through the whole thing. So the show starts with Riley saying something about the it factor, and I have to assume that it factor was what we just talked about.
yeah,
Like now it makes sense, but at the time it was like, okay, what is this? Like, what is the it factor? So that was a nice little teaser of things to come looking back on it.
I honestly was too hinged on the fact that I was almost fired. I wasn't paying attention to anything else in that promo. The second she was like Max Mercury, I wanted him fired. I was like, okay, I'm not paying attention to anything else. I'm going after him.
I don't like you.
Nope.
I don't like you anymore, Riley. Like we had a good thing going, not anymore. The one thing for me, especially with promos, is it's been talked about in other shows, but some shows like the text moves really fast. Like there's a lot of text on the screen, and you get like 3 seconds to read it before it switches to the next block of text or just to the next part of the show. So for me, like I have to go back and watch all of the promos again, because I didn't really get a chance to fully digest what the promos and backstage segments were about. So yeah, that's just another like little nitpicky thing, I guess. But yeah, nothing too bad. We then got the first match of the night, which was also a championship match. It was Manny Lopez defending the PASW Cruiserweight Championship against Sean Avery, of all people. I have never once considered Sean Avery a cruiserweight, but that version.
I will say though, Sean Avery's actually been Cruiserweight champion a couple times in the UCT.
I've never once, maybe it's just because of his, like, my first like real introduction to Sean was during his like XWP championship run. So myself personally, I've never really considered him as a cruiserweight.
You know, it's actually interesting you say that, because on the event that Sean Avery became XWP champion by, when he cashed in on Angel, was on that same event he lost the cruiserweight belt to Flamer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so really? You just missed it.
I guess so. Yeah, like I've never, like when that came up, I was like,
cruiserweight.
Sean's a cruiserweight? Since when? Like that version of Sean Avery, I can totally see passing as a cruiserweight, but the new version of him that's on like XWP and No Holds Barred Wrestling, like the updated version of him, and the one that's been on OCW too. Yeah. That one I don't.
He's like,
yeah, he's fucking juiced, and it's like, you are not a cruiserweight, dude. Yeah. Like you might be able to fly, but a cruiserweight.
I think it's because PACW has a no steroid policy, so that's probably it.
Okay. Well, then a few people should be tested over there. Freddie Bones, Brian Thunder.
Hey, Freddie Bones is 100% natural strength right there.
Hey, you know what? Anyway,
we'll leave it at that.
Point is, this match was very good. A lot of good back and forth between them. I really liked the finish, where Sean went for the package pile driver, and then it was countered with the Rana, for the pin, no less. When he countered, I was like, all right, counter. And then when he hit the 3, I was like, whoa, wait a second. But then that cemented Sean as a heel now, because I don't know if he was a heel prior or what his real history was.
I'll help on that. So I think Sean's history of PSAW was pretty recent, actually. He debuted at the Royal Rumble, World War III in the Rumble match, and started a feud with Freddie Bones, and then they had their match at War Mania where Sean Avery lost. So that's all of his history.
Was he heel in that?
It's hard to say because Freddie wasn't exactly a babyface either. So it's
Yeah.
it was definitely like a little gray between where the face heel alignment was there.
Okay. Well, with this attack, it
Yeah.
definitely cements him as a heel.
Mhm.
And I can only assume, based on that attack, that probably this is not the end of this.
Mhm.
And this feud will probably continue
Mhm.
on for at least a couple of shows. Because I
I
know
think at least
Adri's
I think at least up to Tag Team Classic, because
yeah.
at one point it was mentioned that's the next, like that's the first big show.
Yeah, that's
coming up.
in 3 shows,
Yeah, like
I believe, from now.
3 weeks, 3 shows, probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's probably where this is going, and that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to see them go at it again. Also, I was talking to Bear, and he brought up an interesting point after I was like, whenever I'm making like attires and stuff for matches, I try to make sure that the participants aren't in the same base color or
Oh,
don't have the
absolutely.
same like main color to
Mhm.
them. But Sean and Manny were both in white,
White.
and he was like, when he was actually wrestling, like before the pandemic and whatnot,
Mhm.
he was like, guys would come up to him in the locker room and they'd be like, "What color are you wearing?" So that
Wow,
they
really?
wouldn't wear the same color.
That makes sense, Like, yeah, I understand it completely.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, like that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was like, they're both in white. Like, put one of you in a different color. I don't care,
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, that was good.
I will say I do have kind of a little nitpick, and it's mainly just when it comes to the whole dynamic of this feud, because it set up Sean Avery as the big heel, but Manny's part of Los Ingobernables, who's also a heel stable right now. So it's like, I don't know if it's gonna be heel versus heel, or if Manny's being set up as a face within this heel group, and it left me kind of be like, is it kind of weird. Let me
Yeah, that's a
puzzled.
good point. Because that would be weird if you just turned one member of a stable face.
Yeah.
Because the attack definitely, to me, was like, okay, Sean's the heel.
Hmm. I guess
So
maybe I think maybe it was like that on purpose, because when it comes to Los Ingobernables, they're not really clear cut faces or heels like in real life, and they're kind of just like, we do whatever we want, like in the name. So I guess I shouldn't be too worried about it, but I guess it left me confused and bewildered at first.
yeah, that definitely makes sense. All right, next we got a backstage segment, which basically was this I forget, from the dojo shows. Did Shane Williams ever debut?
No, I think this is actually his first appearance.
Okay, so this was meant to establish that relationship between the two, Mr. Williams and
And
Shane, father-son dynamic.
Mhm.
This was also set up, Williams coming out just after that, saying there's going to be a 4-way dance to earn a contract from the dojo, like a
Yes.
main roster contract. So it was, I don't remember who the Asian guy's name was.
I do. It
Okay.
was Shozo Sogaku.
Okay. So
He's actually been featured in the whole AAPW stuff that Adrian was doing last year.
okay, that's what I thought. Like when I first saw him, I was like, APW guy.
Yeah. And the Aaron John guy, or at least the one who was known as AJ, was also part of it.
Yes, that guy I remembered because well, at first I was like, is that Billy Diamond? Like, is that
No. Billy Diamond's different.
they look like in their face, they kind of look similar, but like not much. But I did know that was from as AAPW. So we had those two, Shane Williams and King in a 4-way. And Shane, my note here for the finish to this was LOL, Shane wins via bullshit.
But perfectly structured bullshit, I mind you.
Yeah, like total heel thing to
Mhm.
come in right at the end, steal the match.
I definitely got MJF vibes in
That
terms
was,
of just like the attitude and the demeanor of
yeah,
his character.
everybody picked up on that.
Mhm.
And like that's fine. Like if you want to base him off of MJF is a very easy to hate
Mhm.
heel. I don't know. For me, him just kind of coming in at the end after just being like a non-factor for at least half of the match was like
Okay.
really like to me King
Was the
stole
star.
the match. Like he
Mhm.
was so good. Like he is a big dude who can
Mhm.
do just about anything you need him to.
I guess for me, I'm probably on the other side of the spectrum. I think Shane Williams was built perfectly throughout this match. I can because this is also his first appearance ever, so it didn't set him up as like this naturally gifted athlete. He was a guy who knows he's not as good as the other guys in the match, so he fought with his brains and bronze, and then stole the victory. Because I know throughout the match, like it looks like Shane Williams is about to do something, and then he gets knocked off by King. So it's like I think for me, I really like this match because it set up Shane Williams by his character and how he wrestles perfectly. I think it was a great way to introduce, at least a great way to introduce the first Gen 4 Ka.
True. There
Mhm.
and I think we're gonna see quite a few
Mhm.
Gen 4s this week. I know I've got at least, well, we can talk about it later, but
Yeah.
I've got one that I've got a couple that are, but one
Yeah.
that I would like to be considered Gen 4, but that's a different
Yeah.
story. Um, but yeah, King stole this match for me. Um, with the two AAPW guys coming in for this, it makes me think that there's going to be some crossover there, which I personally would like to see, seeing as like
Go
Akira Kobe,
Akira.
Akira, yeah,
The Akira mark
Akira,
right here.
yeah, for sure. Day
Mhm.
one, the day one Akira mark, Max Mercury, everyone.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, with him being over there, um, but there's also a lot of like good talent
Mhm.
in AEPW that I would love to see actually brought into
Ooh.
PASW, or at least maybe have some
Like
cross
crossover.
appearance,
Okay.
because like Manny and myself, we made appearances in
Mhm.
AAPW, and
I believe
Johnny,
and AJ and Matt. I think all the champions, minus maybe Avery and Mario, showed up
yeah.
for the shows.
So there's already been some,
Mhm.
but now I'd like to see the crossover to actually take place in
Mhm.
PASW's name
Yeah.
rather than the AAPW. Um, but yeah, so this was fine. Um, did it say, was it just for the contract or was it for like a,
I think it was just for the contract.
okay,
I
I could
believe.
see this potentially leading to like a king coming out and being like, hey, you stole
Mhm.
my opportunity, so I'm going to kick your ass about it.
I could
Something
definitely
like
see that.
that.
I could definitely see that as like Shane Williams' first proper feud.
Yeah.
Fitting with someone who's also from dojo shows before moving on to like bigger fish in
Mm-hmm.
this big ocean that
So,
PASW is.
because King could definitely
He's a
be
top. He's
something.
definitely a top star. He's
Yeah.
like a young Freddie Bones almost when you think about it, with how similar built they are.
He's Mike House cause, man. I don't know.
Oh, is it really Mike's call?
Yep. I
Wow.
learned that when Ace was doing the 64-man tourney field. Mike, he was uploaded under Mike's name.
Okay,
So I'm assuming it's his.
that has to be at this point. I think that all but confirms it.
Yeah. So um next we got the first of a few, well, the second technically, of Riley backstage, this time talking to Jaden. And it seemed Jaden didn't really want to listen to what she had to say.
Mhm.
So they kind of argued and Riley went on her way.
Yeah.
Not much else to really say about that. Then we got a 6-man tag. Swed, Doggy, Rocher, Francois versus Ingobernables, Mario, Max, and AJ Reyes. Another good match. 6-man tags are just the worst when it comes to actually filming them. So commend him for doing it on the first episode because they suck to do. But he executed this really well.
I will say I like that Doggy and Mario were not involved in the finish. Keep them protected and credible while also continuing the feud between Swed, Rocha and Francois, and AJ and Max.
Yeah, it definitely it was structured well. Yeah, 100%. I think my only real complaint is the finish.
Really?
Technical roll-up finish in a row.
Yeah, maybe it's because there was already one earlier.
Yeah, there was one earlier in the match, a show. And AJ rolled up Rocher.
Yeah, it was Rocher.
Yeah, so the actual roll-up counter itself, I really liked the counter of the Trouble in Paradise or whatever Rocher calls it. But that's the move.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, but to do another roll-up, I was like,
yeah,
all right, like fine, I guess.
I understand that.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts on it. I don't know if
I don't have too much thoughts besides protect how they protected Doggy and Mario. Like it was a good match. Nothing much else to say besides that for me.
Yeah, solid, like middle of the card.
Yeah. But the feud is definitely not over between these two groups. That's for sure.
Yeah, I could see we've got the tag team
classic coming up.
So that I could see Swed going the distance to get there.
The thing is, I think I might be mistaken later, but I think when it comes to the tag team classic, the champions don't participate because the winners get the title shot to AJ and Max. So I think maybe Swed might actually win it.
If they don't win it, I see them getting to at least probably like the semi minimally
at the least.
Yeah, at least there or the finals. But if they don't win, it will be because of Ingobernables interference.
Yes.
Which will set up whoever they end up facing. I don't know who that would be, but it would be Ingobernables versus that team. Ingobernables win that match, but then Swed comes out and like that furthers the line further.
Yeah.
Or they just win the tournament. I don't know.
Maybe. I think besides Swed, there's only like maybe 3 other teams worth considering. Maybe there's the Thunder Brothers, who were the previous champs. There's maybe Road Rocker and Alpha, but like I know they had their own kind of feud going into the last season. And then the third is maybe a combo of the new stable that we have, maybe. But
maybe
I'm not sure. But the Swed are definitely a fan favorite.
Kyle and Coda in other ventures have been a tag team before.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that could work. My only hesitation with Alpha and Road Rocker is because they were both attacked. They were both in that beatdown at the end.
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying to keep them in this like PASW versus the Invasion Day of Reckoning, whatever the hell they're going to be called, group. So maybe
I can see them like facing off like in a first round match, like Alpha and Road Rocker like putting their differences aside to take on Kyle and Coda like as a first round match just to get that done. But I don't know. We'll see as the weeks go on.
Yeah. Because Avery's going to be doing, I think he's doing every Monday. Every Monday uploading.
This man really took all of 2021 and just prepared for 2022. He's ready to take this year for PASW.
I was saying to myself earlier, I was like, the bulk of like the points and stuff for Wrestler of the Year this year, a lot of it's coming from PASW. I would say maybe a fourth of it
Definitely.
if he's going weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Like could be more.
Yeah, it all matters on my whims. Let's see if I give him the points.
If you get fired, then it's like
if I get fired, well, then that's out of the window. I'm giving it to OCW or XWF.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff you love to hear.
Anyone who hires me, like you're in the running.
There you go. If you want to be Wrestler of the Year, hire Max Mercury. There's your other plug for the day.
Yeah.
All right. Next we got a Brendan X promo, basically saying he wants to challenge for the Intercontinental title. That led to Steele coming out, former tag partner, to interrupt him, saying like he doesn't deserve it or whatever. Then DJ, your boy, comes out and basically like announces on behalf of management, which I thought was a little weird, but like whatever, that Steele and Brendan are going to compete in a best of 3, and the winner faces DJ at the Tag Classic Finals, which led to their first match, which Brendan wins with the low blow leading into the execution finish.
Yes.
I always thought Steele was the heel of this group.
They're both kind of just dickheads. The way they've been portrayed. Because it was a Strong Style Revolt, because they were in a tag team. They were always kind of heels, and then I wouldn't consider any of them the babyface. If anything, I think you're the babyface in this program, and it's just two heels who don't like each other, and especially because of the bad blood between them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, no, definitely DJ is definitely the face of this, because I think DJ turned face last season after he officially
after all the bullshit that Max and Cass put him through.
Yeah. So can you blame me really for it? Okay, well, besides you, can you blame me?
Then no. Then
hey, there you go. So yeah. Brendan wins. You gotta assume the Steele's winning the second somehow.
I think for the last one, I feel like it's gonna be like a no contest, and we're gonna get like a triple threat for the belt. Or either that or Brendan.
I personally would rather it be Brendan, just because like I think that's just a better match.
Yeah.
Like I think DJ versus Brendan is a better match than DJ versus Steele.
Yeah, I think it also just for me, just because of where they were at least how 2021 was for both men and how radically different it was, that I see more stock in having Brendan win the series and then challenging you. But I can also see it being a triple threat.
I don't see DJ dropping the belt either way, though. I think it's too early.
I think this is just like your first real program with the belt, and then like moving on before you eventually have the feud that you end up dropping the belt.
If anything, it's going to be dropped to either somebody a part of the invasion angle or somebody that will soon be a part of the invasion angle.
Or maybe me.
Yeah, hey, it could. I don't know. They could. He could rehash that.
I do think Cass will eventually come back to like at least go after you, because you took his title.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's at least a 1 month thing that could happen.
Yeah. We'll see going forward, but yeah, Brendan wins here. With that, then we got the next one, the next Riley backstage thing, this time with Johnny. He also did not really want to hear what she had to say and just kicked her out, basically. Again, that's really all you can say about it. Then the last match before the main event, when it got announced, or when the graphic flashed, a lot of us were like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this big match here! Big, beefy boys."
Minus Jack.
He's technically a super heavyweight in the game.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's labeled as a super heavyweight. But these are three dudes who they are strikers predominantly, I'd have to say.
Very violent too.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
three men.
It was Jack Roberts versus Mike House versus Freddie Bones, where the winner got a undisputed title shot. This was, aside from the main, I thought this was the best match.
It was definitely a great match. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Any three men, really.
Yeah, when the graphic came up, I was like, this is really close. Like, I don't know which way this goes. Because you have Mike and Freddie, who were basically like synonymous with the belt
Undisputed title. Yeah.
season. And then you have Jack, who would be the newer guy for this, and that would definitely be the fresh
face.
Yeah, if he were to take on Johnny.
Especially considering all three men were heels, and like nobody really thought Jaden would win.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, Jack versus Johnny, that's something new.
That's a great match.
Yeah, like that would be fine.
I don't think it's been done too much, if at all, really.
You would know better than me, really.
Yeah, I think if anything, like the last time maybe those guys fought was like 2017, 2018. So like it's fresh enough, especially with how much Jack Roberts has built himself over the last couple of years. Because Johnny's been at that level, but like Jack is now at that level, so it would be really good to see them face each other.
Yeah, Jack has a lot of untapped potential.
Yeah.
He's featured on a couple shows, but he's never.
I think it's because he's been like typecast into the hardcore division that we don't see him do greater stuff than that. Because he can definitely do that stuff before, because he's a former world champion in his own company. So like he can be at the main event level. It's just I think someone just needs to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it just seems like wherever he goes, he is slotted into that role. I mean, he fits the role really well because that's just the character.
That's what he does.
But if he was given that elevated shot, he definitely could do some really cool things. But yeah, this was good. Freddie wins with the tombstone, pinning Jack.
Yeah.
Which
I thought was neat because it protects Mike, who just lost the world title to Johnny back at WarMania. So I thought that was fine.
So the thing now is, it seems to me that Freddie kind of turned more face.
Yeah, I think especially with like that the angle at the end of the show, I think Freddie's positioned as like a face, since he is one of the PASW originals and they're fighting this invading force.
Yeah.
And I think it could work because he was like a face at the like in 2019, and especially during the beginning of his world title run. So it could work.
So now, that's the show. If you have not checked out the show, again, you've already we've just told you what happens.
Yeah.
From start to finish. But if you chose to watch this show before you saw PASW, number one, that's your fault. And number two, go and watch it. The link to the video is in the description below. But now I have the inside track on what is to come for PASW next week.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
This is new for me too, guys.
So this is straight from Avery himself. So first off, Freddie Bones has been declared injured.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Yeah, he's definitely a face now if he comes back.
Medical report says he's got several herniated discs in his back and will not be back for the season.
Okay, well that means at least a Rumble return, maybe, or I don't know. Definitely down the line. We're not his 2022 is already over. That's a shame.
You should give him points. Just
I'll
based
definitely
off
give
of
him
Prince.
points, but that's all he's gonna get apparently.
So his title shot is removed. So
Okay.
we don't know what is next. Who is next, rather. If you're asking me, this is not on here. This is just my own speculation. Probably Johnny's gonna try to go back for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would also
Yeah.
say that. I would also say that.
So, or like maybe even like
Maybe
a
Avery?
real. Maybe isn't he champion?
He
Isn't he
is, but
European
it's,
champion.
I mean, Shawn Michaels fought for the WWE title as European champion, so
All right, yeah,
you know.
that's fair.
And then
Um,
maybe like he'll challenge for the belt and then maybe drop it to like Caleb James or something,
Yeah.
just to further that angle.
Or a real far-fetched
Mhm.
idea is maybe due to the events that happened, maybe we see a Johnny Mike partnership.
I can definitely see that. If anything, that could happen after Johnny has a rematch for the belt.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
like Johnny needs like
Yeah,
somebody
Mhm.
else to fight
Yeah,
with him, and
like Johnny loses the rematch, and then like the Day of Reckoning are just kicking his ass. Nobody's saving him because like Avery and them have all been taken out, and then just Mike comes out, maybe because of like an interaction. Because I think was it Mike House and Jaden also have their own history too.
Yep.
Because Jaden won the IC belt from Mike House at Heatwave 2020. So like there's history there. So there would be incentive for like Mike to at least go after the Day of Reckoning, but not because like he wants to help Johnny, but just because like he's going after Day of Reckoning.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that could be cool. PASW management does not know why Caleb, Coda, and Kyle did what they did. Management tried to speak to Riley about it, but before they could, she had already left the arena. So I think right after she came out on the stage, she just booked it. So
if only I
we'll
was there to
see.
super kicker in the face.
Yeah. Just
my
cut
chance.
backstage to Max just kicking a girl in the face. That's wonderful.
The true heel right there.
They don't know who opened the door for them to come in. So there's currently an investigation. And then for next week, we're getting Brendan versus Steele, the second match in the series. And the Tag Team Classic will begin with two quarterfinal tag matches. And the PASW Attitude Championship will be defended. For those unfamiliar, that is one of the Young Lions titles that Avery had in his Young Lions show. So that is the inside scoop for PASW. Expect more of that. We have a agreement with Avery to do this type of shit.
Wow. So we have the inside scoop. Okay.
The UCT live podcast. So if you want to know what's to come for
the real
PASW,
dirt sheets right here.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Subscribe and follow this podcast. So yeah, that is to come next Monday for, I don't know if he's calling it anything other than just like PASW or whatever.
Because like every show in the UCT already has a name for their shows now. Oblivion, Mayhem, Renegade, Shockwave. You gotta have a name with your show now.
Actually, I'm dropping that name. I know. I have a different name. With the
news. Is it gonna be like OCW Instinct?
It is.
I mean, wow. Because that's already been taken by Manny.
Well, maybe I'll change it then. I don't know. I have the arena made at least, and it's yeah. So I haven't filmed anything for it.
I mean, if it helps, Manny's like Instinct show is Instinct in Spanish, so you could just be Instinct in English. So
yeah,
whatever.
I don't know. We'll see what I decide on that, but I know for a fact that Renegade is not the title show.
It's not coming back. It's done.
No.
It's dead.
So yeah, exciting stuff. from PASW this week. Hell of a way to kick off the return week.
Damn. I'm excited. I think that was the best way to start off this week.
Yeah, it was.
No complaints.
Yeah, Avery has definitely set the bar pretty high.
Oof.
There's a lot of shows coming up. There's one that might be being added this week.
Ooh, I heard about that. Is it CXW?
Yeah, the OCW versus CXW Battleground show. It's not definite as of the time of this recording.
Okay.
But
Speculated.
I have talked to Jack about it, and he did ask me if he could be slotted in somewhere.
More the merrier.
Yeah. I personally would love to see that show.
Is it because you're booked?
Maybe it's also
no.
like my
It's also your company.
yeah, it's my show,
Yeah.
so of course I want to see it.
Yeah.
This was something, but I haven't seen anything
Okay.
about this. We booked the card together, but I have no idea what's going to happen. Other than winners, I know who wins, but like the actual happenings of everything, I don't know. So I'm very excited to see what he did with it. So yeah, that is potentially this week. We have the CGW TLC tomorrow. That is now the only show / match happening. The AJ Black and Angel Alexander match is being pushed back to Thursday from AJ's request. So that's being pushed back. And then tomorrow, Rookie of the Year.
Yep,
right?
Rookie of the Year. I even forgot in the video. It's okay. I had to edit. I had to look at it afterwards. But yes, Rookie of the Year is tomorrow, Tuesday, January 4th.
Sweet.
It'll be 30 minutes before TLC happens, so I'll be like his pre-show in a way.
Okay, so that'd be what, 5:30 Eastern? 1:30 your time?
Yeah, like 5:30 Eastern. 5:30 Eastern.
Okay. Yeah, so check your local listings on that. If you don't follow the UCT Extra Twitter account, that is where all updates happen. So go and give that a follow. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to all other YouTube channels involved in the UCT. And if you want to know more about the UCT, the link to the Wikipedia page is also going to be in the description of this video, where we have all the information you could possibly ask for with all of the shows throughout UCT's history, both past and current. So we're gonna wrap things up here. So thank you all for watching, taking the time out of your day to check out this podcast. Be on the lookout for the CGW review show, which will be posted tomorrow. We'll be doing the review of that show tomorrow night, or tomorrow from this recording night, not to get confused. But yeah, I am Drake Stacy, and this is the Wigman, Max Mercury. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See ya.